for sustainable agriculture and for food security. We have a packed 1 hour and a half. I hope we can stay on track. And we will have two eminent speakers for the opening remarks. We will have 2 keynote presentations, followed by 3 discussants. And hopefully we will have time for a Q&A and a quick closing remarks. So let me, without further ado, start by calling the first person for the opening remarks. We are very lucky to have Ms. Li Jiping, the Deputy Director General of the Foreign Economic Cooperation Center of the International Cooperation Department in the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs of the PRC. Ms. Li Jiping, the floor is yours.
Very respected Ms. Marcia, respected ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am very delighted that I was invited by ADB to make an opening remarks at this webinar and to share with you how China making use of a digital value chain to innovate the food value chain. For a long time, there's a situation that the scale of operation of agriculture is very small and very low productivity of the agricultural products. And more than 80% of the arable land is scattered among the 260 million small household farmers. And 93% of the agricultural products scattered. And this kind of operation has been an obstacle to the scale up of the agricultural sector. But in recent years, due to good technology, the situation has been improved as big data, Internet of Things, and digitization have been incorporated into different parts of the agricultural industrial chain. And the digital agriculture has been a very good driver for the upgrade and the modernization of agriculture. The digital agriculture has taken the data and information as production factors and towards the targets and the environment. They could have a very good visible impression. And in 2022, MARA and also the Office of the Internet Information in China has promulgated a plan. And it mentioned that agriculture in the broader sense includes the Internet of Things in agriculture and big data in agriculture, precise agriculture and smart agriculture. It includes the collection, application, exploration of data that service the whole chain of agriculture. Digital agriculture takes the computers, communications, automation, and geological system to be incorporated together and also taken into consideration of biology, geology, soil studies. They incorporate all the disciplines together. And the advanced technology has been integrated with the traditional agriculture. So it is a very good driving force to modernize the productivity model of agriculture. The digital agriculture has promoted the way the farmers produce and increased the productivity. And the scientific decision-making has also promoted the precise agriculture, promoting the agriculture from experience-based to data-based, from physical-based to intelligence-based. And the farmers' smartphones have already become tools for their production. And this has also reduced the volatility and the low efficiency of the production. And on the other hand, the agriculture incorporated with the Internet of Things and the big data. And this has helped the agriculture to better process. And by the whole industrial chain digitization and standardized management, this has also provided a very effective way for the good agricultural products. In recent years, China has made some progress in digital agriculture. By the end of 2021, in 9 provinces, China has some pilot or demonstration projects. And also all over China, there was apple, cotton, oil, and rubber, and other products. We had some pilot of big data in these product sectors. And we have also had we had also more than 210 digital demonstration bases in China. By the end of 2021, Mara has also solicited some new models and prototypes of the new technology. And we have awarded 205 new agricultural cases. And the innovation base of these cases include the administrative departments in different provinces. It also includes scientific and research institutes and also agricultural enterprises. So this has fully demonstrated the vigor of digital agriculture in China. One typical case is that the grassroots governments have been cooperating with some internet companies to explore in the agriculture. For example, some seed solutions by using artificial intelligence, and also some drone farms. By internet and sensors, we can also monitor the soil and the water quality of the farmland. And by the big data technology, we could also monitor the growing of the crops. So to some extent, it could help us to predict the insects. And by the platform established by the government and with the participation of enterprises, the big data, the artificial intelligence, with the actual practice, the enterprises, and especially those internet enterprises, have helped the digitization of agriculture, and they have provided with a lot of experience and modalities to the agriculture sector, and attract a lot of private on the social investment into the agricultural practice. Ladies and gentlemen, digital technology is not only a way to explore the solutions for the agriculture and the rural areas, and it can also help us with the rural strategy and the revitalization of the rural areas. It can also bring the vigor of the agricultural sector and increase the income of the farmers. In the exploration of the digital technology, we should incorporate the technology with the local features of the farmland and agriculture to have the scientific agricultural development and improve the agricultural industrial chain, and also to bring into play the transformation effectiveness and build some specialty brands. Our center of the Mara will host a meeting in Weifang city of Shandong province for the first Smart Agricultural Forum, and we welcome your participation into this forum to explore together the infinite possibilities of the agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Li Jipin. You raise some important points, and you show us the potential and impact of digital agriculture. You mention Internet of Things, big data, artificial intelligence, sensors. These are really important tools for the standardization also of management of value chains. And you raise an important point on the integration of the digital agriculture with the traditional agriculture. So thank you so much for starting the webinar with very important points. It is now time to call Mr. Tom Panella. He is the Director for Environment, Natural Resources and Agriculture in the East Asia Department of Asian Development Bank, and he's also the Chair of the Water Sector Committee of ADB. Please, Tom, over to you. You have 10 minutes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Marcia, for the introduction. And it's really a pleasure for me to be here to participate in this second in the series of the webinar. I'd like to thank Deputy Director Ms. Li Jipin for setting it with an excellent example, and welcome the distinguished guests and ADB colleagues. I'd like to welcome all the speakers and participants to this second session. Share the PRCs and other countries' experiences on innovation in the food value chain. We'd like to thank the PRC Poverty Reduction and Regional Cooperation Fund for co-organizing this event.
I couldn't hear anything from the speaker.
Yeah, sorry. Also, I think we lost Tom. I was trying to check if it was only me or everybody. So it seems we have some technical problems. We are waiting for Tom to log in. Let's give him let's wait a few seconds. Oh, here you go, Tom. Tom, we lost you. And now you're muted.
Anyways, it's the office internet. The UN announced this year that population will reach 8 billion people. And although the population growth rate is slowing, demand for food will multiply by 1.5 times over the next 20 years. On top of this, urban consumers are expected to represent nearly 70, or in the case of the PRC, 77% of the global population by 2050. We have another 220 million additional middle-class consumers by 2030. We will see an increase in demand for food intake. For instance, caloric intake is projected to increase from around 2,800 kilocalories in the year 2000 to 3,100 kilocalories per day by 2050, with changing preferences. Around the world, particularly in Asia and the Pacific, we are seeing changing diet and food consumption habits. We see that all consumers are changing dietary patterns to demand more animal protein and oil crops. Also, consumers are demanding more ready-to-eat food and away from home food, which became quite prevalent during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this pattern has remained. At the same time, we see different trends and demands among food consumers. such that healthy, safe, and organic food are becoming more demanded, animal welfare concerns are growing, and social and environmental concerns are becoming more important in food production and consumer preferences in general. To make the food and agriculture sector more responsive to this growing and changing demands, we also are witnessing various types of innovation in the food and agriculture industry today. In particular, we believe that digital technology applications in food and agriculture or digital platforms have a promising future to integrate all actors across the food value chain and promote transparency and traceability among all the products and actors, including consumers. For example, at the production stage, big data derived by using remote sensing technology or drones across different genetics, weather, agronomic, hydrologic, and soil conditions can help us make smarter decisions through optimizing the uses of resource to improve production. I believe Ms. Li Jinping gave a very good example of how this can work. In the food processing and food safety perspective, the use of radio frequency identification technology can be used to transfer data from electronic tagging to track products within a logistics system, to manage inventory more efficiently, and to manage consumer demand through inventory and replenishment. Digital technology application in logistics also has a particularly promising area. Along with recent development in temperature-controlled technologies such as cold chain, digital technologies are using GPS for tracking, RFID technology for inventory management, and mobile phone applications to keep track of products. Digital platforms that directly connect farmers to markets and consumers are also a great solution to reduce trading layers and produce and improve farmers' access to regular market alerts such as pricing and consumer demand. This will help farmers make well-informed decisions on their farming practices, while at the same time increase their incomes. As we see in various nodes along the value chain, digital technologies could integrate supply chain partners to meet the demand of the consumers at the downstream level as well, to help reduce excessive food waste. The PRC has made significant progress in applying digital technologies at various stages of the food chain over the years. The PRC's success in digital technology in the context of food value chain sets great examples for countries in Asia and the Pacific facing similar challenges. Today's webinar provides an opportunity to learn lessons and experiences from the PRC and innovations in food value chain to create a more productive, sustainable, and resilient food and agricultural sector. Sharing this knowledge is extremely valuable, not only for ADB member countries, but for the global community. ADB will continue its efforts to share the development experience of the PRC with other member countries through various platforms such as our KSI, our CARIC, or Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation, and our Greater Mekong Subregion Economic Cooperation groups. I'm delighted to welcome our colleagues from government agencies, academia, civil society, and the private sector, along with our colleagues from different ADB regional departments and private sector departments to share experience, discuss challenges, and propose potential solutions for future investment strategies to achieve sustainable and resilient agriculture and food systems across Asia and the Pacific. Once again, a warm welcome to all the speakers and participants for joining us today. And a special thanks goes to the project team for organizing this webinar and creating the opportunity to bring us all together from across the globe. Thank you very much for your time today, and please enjoy the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. You really brought additional digital tools like RFID, blockchains, that are very important for the integration of the value chain stakeholders. It's something that is essential also for transparency. And you also stress again the importance of the agriculture sector in addressing not only environmental, but also social and economic issues. So I now look forward to more presentation from our keynote speakers. Let me introduce you the first keynote speaker. He is Dr. Jikun Huang. He is the founding director of China Center for Agricultural Policy. He is director of the New Rural Development Institute and a professor at School of Advanced Agriculture Sciences of Peking University. Mr. Jikun Huang, you have 15 minutes for your keynote presentation. Over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm glad to attend today's seminar. And my talk is about digital technology for agriculture and food value chain development in China. I will talk mainly focus two aspects: what opportunities and what are challenges. Next, please. We have seen many reports from media, from private sector, from government, and project reports that lower our digital technology and culture in food value chain development. We also just heard from two opinion remarks for important digital technology and culture in terms of improving production efficiency, marketing, and improving consumption, and or you can call it the whole integrated whole value chain of agriculture and food sector. Meantime, they also can have role to improving governance in several aspects. I don't have time to go each on that, but I want to add that potential role. It's not only role, it's more actually we so call it potential role. Why potential role? I will tell this story more later. Next page, please. Because there's potential role of digital technology to facilitate agricultural development, China in past 10 years has initiated many policies to accelerate digital agricultural development. When in 2012, the #1 policy in China, #1 document in China indicated try to facilitate precision agricultural technology development. Then after 10 years, nearly China has developed, tried to improve the infrastructure. We call new infrastructure for digital technology development by 2020. Each time China make a plan for digital agriculture and rural development toward 2025. That's the plan. 2 years later, by 2022, this year, China initiated rural development action plan. Any initiative cover from digital infrastructure at the end of those production, governance, nearly cover every aspect of rural development. And earlier this year, there's a document #1. This plan came down by in 2022. In part of Vega and Zhejiang, in Peru, visited more than 10 countries, try to see what are implemented, how this has implemented in the township village. We see there are some really impressive things going. Next page, please. With those policy in the state, investment, government, private sector, we see the rising internet penetration, and although rural area is slightly lower than urban area, but in part 2-3 years, penetration in rural areas is taking off. It's growing much faster in urban area. We hope within a few years there's no much difference between urban and rural. You see the right side here how significant rising mobile base station, but I want to emphasize China is shifting from 4G to 5G, and I believe in the coming couple of years, the 5G will cover every word in China. Like today, I'm in Zhejiang, Zhejiang in one county, 5G is needed every village now. Next page, please. Next page, please. And let me show you a couple of what is mean by different plan of China digital economy development. Here I just cited a few lines from this document. And basically by 2025, that's only 3 years from now, so the goal of development is largely completed, construction of the carbon data connection system, and so try to significantly improve digital transformation, not only in economic production, also in operation, management, and service, and try to gradually improve rural digital governance system. Right table show you some detailed indicators what targeted output going to achieve. For example, share of digital economy in GDP is planning to move from about 7% in 2018 to about 50%, and by 2025, also by 2025, share of non-retail economic product will reach 50%. Internal penetration and others, therefore, all have indicators trying to achieve the target. Next page, please. It's not only government engaged, participate, facilitate this transformation. Private sector from Ekato, I would say, make nearly every major Ekato company. They have invested in digital Ekato, from crop sector to livestock sector, from breeding to import to until the processing, marketing. Next page, please. Yeah. Please. Next. In addition to those, the early one just show you the private the company, a kind of company they're engaging, but more important probably is internet company. They are also engaged here. That show you Alibaba, Tencent, Jingdong Huang, and Huawei. They all started to pilot project in Ekato rural development and see what they can do in the future. Please, next page. The question is how to facilitate this digital economy technology. I don't think the government, I don't think the private sector know those answers. And even we China has pioneered this thing for more than about 2 years. For example, in 2013, MOA or Ministry of Economy for the initiated a pilot project in 9 provinces. I know that here that only needs a few pilot projects trained by Ministry of Economy or first, and also several other ministries that is not only end of story. Indeed, the provincial digital rural pilot project also implemented very fast. The county I'm sitting here is the table I'm sitting here is in the office of Ning'an County. I just heard they received 80 million yuan last year from local government, Zhejiang government to implement or pilot program of digital economy project. So, but the point here is not only single government investment in pilot program, provincial government, county government, all of us put money on this sector. Next page, please. We can also invest what are happening, right? So we in past 2 years I have visited many cases, application cases, see how they are working in the ground. We do see the IoT technology has been applying in some field in cargo sector. I don't have time to go to detail on this, but again, 2 major points I want to make. One is they have potential to play role, or they have potential to saving labor import, but they have potential to improve efficiency. But most important, second point I mentioned is vehicles. I haven't seen any case of so far they're able to recover the cost or investment from their business using major IoT technology cardboard sector. Next page, please. And in this is one of exciting case I looked at the more than 50 cases across China. And the farmer, the photo the left side is farmer. I took which photo is him. He used very fancy technology, all automatic. This equipment is about a little more than 1 million RMB. And then he basically used the technology to train his single production half the time from farmer to green system, 5 months ahead of market supply. And because this system has improved year per year. And he told me it's double year, but this year I go there to check it about year increase more than 50%. And price, he's selling price in off season, so price increase 3 times. He get a lot of profit for it. But ADB is made within 4 or 5 years to get paid through this investment. But the question is only many few farmers can adopt technology investment is very high. Government have to subsidize more than 40% of this equipment so that he was able to adopt it. Next page, please. And we also see now with several quite fancy marketing of digital technology. You get a cargo. This is one company I visited a few months in Beijing. A huge investment. Yes, tomato this year increased about 3-4 times. And he said if he do good business, even can increase 4 or 5 times. It's very difficult. And but at the end, he told me after 3-4 years operation, last year he's able to recover the cost from operation cost from the revenue. Okay, but it did not account for huge investment in first year investment. That is 200 million euros. And we also nearly good example is drown. The U.S. in many areas now farmers usually drowns in pro county. I mean now I also see it everywhere strong and using plant protection. Again, that's a great innovation. But I'm quite concerned about small farmers because every time we take off about 4 or 5 hectare size of farm, but many farmers in China only is less than 1 hectare. Next page, please. Next page. And I also designed 4 or 5 cases of blockchain using food traceability. And here's an example of crab using in Jiangsu, using this technology. But again, they are trying to see how this is working internally because a carton used product using blockchain is quite different from industrial product because of the safety issue. And we now engaging the government in this inspection and monitoring. It will be difficult to be adopted by farmers. Next page, please. We also see the technology using financial in the every pilot project. We do see quite exciting some technology which you can use have potential, but again, to make this become more farmers can adopt. I think the institutional incentive, many marketing issues will need to solve. Next page, please. One of the most innovative technology, and everybody knows it, of course, it's e-commerce, right? So I did a survey in the past 5 years, monitoring about 10 minutes e-commerce village with no e-commerce village, see how farmers can gain from this e-commerce. I do the Apple in other product. This table shows the Apple village is selling, farmers selling e-commerce. And they can sell it to you, and then even selling not e-commerce on 1.28 yuan. Of course, the marketing cost is much higher, But farmer can gain from this per kg 29 cents. It is huge amount of profit. It's about 23% of price in offline. And we need to really help the farmer increase income. Let's pay it, please. But let's pay it. But I have two questions. One question, farmer is gaining this is big accessibility. It's not in practical form. We have seen many increase farmers, let's say the product in practical form 40 down, a major increasing from week, let's say. It's quite surprising. The farmer told me that it's much easier. And they only, each household only produce a few tons. Let's say within a couple of weeks, they even can sell a few tons on their upwards. So we have to see with huge investment in platform, but who are benefiting? I think we have indeed the farmer is not that can benefit with very simple technology. Next page, please. And we also see how who gets doing this and based with more advanced educated people and good things with the more female doing more business and more younger people, not farmers, benefit from this business. And we also important in China, platform now selling a counterpart in the morning, 30% farmer selling only less than 0.5%. Let's pay the please. Let's pay the please. We okay. We also look at whole China development. We see Taobao village increasing very fast. But I may note is mostly in coastal area, more development. Of course, you can also see a couple of villages in Western China, Central China, but this is not common. We also do a digital village intent together with Baba, and we have a similar finding as digital division divided. It's quite spread across China, many in rich area develop much faster than poor area. It even can invest huge amount in infrastructure in poor areas. Next page, please. So let me conclude my talk. We see there potential know-how using digital technology and cultural development. There's no doubt there's potential, but not really already impact the farming to go. Then we see we need a substantial effort have been made by government, private sector in past decade, but without ambitious. We see more effort, importance to be made of how to read out digital technology. What I need now, what I need 5 years. We need a appropriate technology for digital and cultural. And we need a more inclusive development and strategy. And they can be net in terms between region and more farmers. And we also see a more empirical study should be conducted of what actual demand. This is what I'm doing now in several provinces to ask farmers what you need now. If we don't have what the farmer need now, we estimate that we try to invent what might be not so exciting. So cost of benefit and leader roll out technology, we need a more empirical study. Last but not least, we need to see what enable comprehensive factor for red and inclusive digital and cultural development. Thank you very much. I will end here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jikun Huang. This is very interesting. And, you know, I lived in Beijing for 6 years and I was buying fruits and vegetables via WeChat. So I was interested to see that, you know, it's a very important and a powerful tool to connect consumers with farmers. I was buying the big mangoes from the south of China throughout the year. So it's really powerful. So thank you so much for this presentation. You stress the benefit of digital agriculture along the entire ecosystem. You stress the importance of enabling environment, of the digital infrastructure, and I would add also the digital literacy of the farmers. You brought in the issue of private sector, the pilots from governments, and also you brought in the issue of inclusion inclusivity? How do we include the small farmers and the less connected areas of the country? So thank you so much. We mentioned private sector, and private sector in China and in agriculture. Of course, Alibaba comes to mind. And so I would like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Dou Wei. He is the Vice General Manager of the Department of Digital Rural Affairs of Alibaba. The floor is yours, and you have 15 minutes. Thank you.
Dear experts and everybody, good afternoon. My name is Dou Wei from Alibaba. My topic today is digitally enabled rural industrial revitalization practical models from Alibaba D County. The three parts in my presentation today. Firstly, I would give you a brief introduction to Alibaba Group and the Digital County BU. And secondly, I will talk about practical models of rural e-commerce and industrial digitization. Thirdly, we will look forward to the future. The industrial ecosystem consists of a government, e-platform, and farmers or SMEs. And firstly, I would like to give you a brief introduction to Alibaba Group. Alibaba was established in 1999, and now it has grown into a company with business including e-commerce, cloud computing, logical consumer service, digital media, and innovation initiatives. So our mission is to make it easy to do business around the world. And we have three strategies: the China, consumptions, globalization, and the cloud computing strategies. The Alibaba Group has participated into rural affairs and rural revitalization long ago.
In around 2010, the emergence of Taobao villages in China. So what is a Taobao village? That is to say, in the village, a large share of villagers ran their online shops in Taobao platform. So that was in 2010. And since 2014, Alibaba mobilized the e-commerce businesses. We hoped that the goods from the cities could be sold to the countryside, while the farm produce from the villages could be sold to the urban consumers. And then since 2017, we have established Alibaba Foundation. So the focus of Alibaba Foundation was to contribute to the rural revitalization and poverty reduction. And around 2017, the Chinese government speed up the national strategy on rural revitalization and poverty reduction. And then the third stage is starting from 2022, and Alibaba proposed the Land of Hope initiative. There are three directions. One is industrial revitalization in the rural areas, mainly the e-commerce platform, and to help the farmers to get more income. The second is talent. How can we cultivate more talents for the rural areas and more villages could run their online shops? And the third direction is technology. We hope that we can transfer more technology to the countryside, which include the digital agriculture technology as well as the technologies concerning the digital value chain. And then I'd like to talk about Alibaba D Country program. Within Alibaba Group, we have around 20 program units which has a mandate on the countryside. For example, we have Tmall platform, which is an online shop. And now offline, we have a Hema, a new innovative retail shops. And also we have business units on the rural logistics and value chain. And also we have the platforms for the rural tourism, for example, the Gaode map. In fact, this Gaode map has a strong navigation targeting the rural leisure spots or recreational spots. And also we are researching on the digital agriculture in Alibaba. And then the D-country department of Alibaba has pulled the solutions from a different department. We generated integrated solutions to the counties and townships to contribute to rural revitalization. The digital solution includes the talents cultivation, the cultural development, digital technology, how to use digital technology to improve the local ecosystem and eco-environment. Now, over the past 3 years, we have been working together with over 100 counties and townships. And I think that 30 of them could be good examples for digital villages. And then I'd like to share some details. So for rural revitalization, we cover product supply chain and sales and marketing. In terms of production, we focus on the selection of high quality farm produce and good packaging. And then in supply chain, our focus was on the construction of the warehouse in the place of origin, and also delivery is also very important. We analyze the production and consumption data to optimize the value chain. And then in terms of sales and marketing, we help the villages to build their brand. And also we help them organize trade promotions and promotion fairs. At the same time, we market the rural tourism. So we have this rural tourism and rural production. We integrate the rural product and rural tourism in our marketing campaigns so that the consumers will not only buy those products, they could also enjoy themselves in those rural recreational spots. And then I'd like to talk about several business models. Firstly, how to upgrade agricultural products for e-commerce. We have two main practices. The first is that on the online shops, we try to upgrade the quality of farm produce. So we have very stringent quality control and innovative packaging and sorting and grading for the farm producer. So for example, in Xiangshan County, which is an orange producing county in Zhejiang province. So in terms of the size, the shape, the color of orange, we sort of oranges according to the different criteria. And then for the high quality produce, we can apply a higher price premium. And then we have used high quality packaging. So that is to say, these kinds of farm produce will be more appealing to urban consumers because with this sorting and grading, we can select those high quality produce. We give them good packaging, and then these products can have very good price premium. So although this product is only 15% of the total production in the county, however, they contribute to 60% of GDP from the agriculture sector. And the second practice is market segmentation. So for example, on the rose industry in county in Shandong province, through our analysis, we found that the young women could be the potential consumers for rose products. So for these young women, they like the sheep products. They like products which are more innovative. So we upgrade the rose products in the county. So, for example, we have designed this low sugar and low fat, the rose candies and rose pancakes. And also we have developed this rose tea or instant rose powder. So these products are very attractive to the young women, and they buy a lot of those products in the Taobao platform. And the second model is called integrated marketing. And here, firstly, for farm produce and food, we have this omni-channel platform. So here we have a multi-layer market. So for example, for the live stream marketing, we target the younger generations. While in Hema, the offline shop, this is a high-end retail shop. They target the middle class in the cities, while in Tmall platform, our focus was branding and promotion. And then for the deliveries, the delivery businesses focuses on providing the timely and fresh products to the urban consumers or urban communities. And the second mainstream is digital marketing communications. So for example, the Double 11 festival. And then we have this promotion activities for farm produce and also auctions for high quality farm produce. And also we help the counties to build their brands. So for the counties, they need to design a unique brand, and they need to have a good story for their produce, and they need to promote their product both online and offline. They need to have good traceability system. They need to protect their place of origin. So only when those conditions are met, then they can attract more consumers and they can build a market for their produce. And then we have the second model, which is to have this to integrating agriculture with the rural tourism. So for example, we have included the rural tourism spots into our map navigation system so that the consumers could be led to visit those orchard or the recreational spots. And also we organize the rural tourism festivals. And then after these consumers visited the villages, and then they will become also the consumers of the products from that villages. And then the third model is a digital supply chain management system. So for example, we can use the digital technology to monitor the pest, the weather conditions, soil conditions, water and fertilizer. And then in terms of our warehouse and delivery, we can collect data on transportation, on sorting and grading. In terms of sales and marketing, we collect the data on the sales channels, marketing, as well as the brand franchising. So then we can have a comprehensive analysis of the whole value chain, and which can predict what we need to do in the next step. For example, whether we need to optimize our inventories, whether we can apply a better price for the farm produce, whether we can improve our management of the farm produce, and also whether we can give lendings or give loans to the farmers. So all these data is very important. And then the fourth model is training and SME services. So in many countries, we have already provided offline and online training activities. So we now provide more than 900 online courses on e-commerce, and also we have organized offline trainings. Over the past few years, we have trained more than 700,000 people across the whole country. And also we train the farmers, and also we have a one-on-one mentoring for farmers on how to do the live streaming, how to run their online shops, how to analyze their e-commerce data. So we have set up service centers in 10 counties in China, and those service centers could provide the classrooms, the rooms for live streaming, the exhibition center for the farmers in their local communities. So in China, the digital technology needs to have an enabling ecosystem to contribute to the rural revitalization. While this ecosystem consists of government, platform, farmers, and SMEs. And in this ecosystem, government role is to provide internet transportation infrastructure. They need to have the forward-looking planning, and they need to provide the favorable environment to support the industrial growth, and also they need to reduce the transaction cost. So that is the role of a government. And for the digital platform, we provide the tools for e-commerce as well as the business models so that the farm produce could be upgraded and enjoy a higher quality, and they can benefit from the marketing campaigns, and they can be better integrated into the value chain. And also through the digital platform, we can provide more trainings to farmers and SMEs. Well, for farmers and SMEs, they are entrepreneurs of e-commerce, and then they can have more agro-processing activities so that they will produce the products with more value addition.
These small farmers can become new players, so they will have new roles. So they can be the digital farmers. They could monitor their farms, and they would also have the product package and IP designer. And then the supply chain operators, rural tourism business operators, and some online KOLs will also become the integrated part of the whole ecosystem. And only when these people develop, then digitization could revitalize the sector. We hope that we could have some in-depth discussion with experts and scholars to see how we could help the rural revitalization. And we would also hope that we could cooperate with the entrepreneurs, the private sectors to work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Doway. This was a very rich and comprehensive presentation. I won't try to summarize it, but maybe just few points that really resonated with me. It's, you know, you really looked at the entire ecosystem. You look at the needs from the farm to the plate, as they say. You look at the needs of the various stakeholders with different needs in terms of services. You look at small farmers as digital farmers, creating a new role. And I think this is very important because it would attract the youth to remain engaged in agriculture, because that's another issue that the young people don't really want to work in agriculture. You also stress one of your models on how to transform low-end to high-end products, and that's another way for farmers to keep more of the value of the products. And I didn't know there were the roast pancakes without sugars. Otherwise, I would have eaten them. So anyway, we have now 3 discussants that will comment further on the 2 keynote speakers. And let me start with with Mr. Mo Linfen, the Vice President of Novagro, Shandong, China. Mr. Mo Linfen, the floor is yours and you have 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. My topic is intelligence compound planting. This is a short introduction of our company, Novagro China. We are an intelligent agriculture solution provider, and our main product is the unmanned tractor, which is powered by the integration of AI, Internet of Things, and big data. Our company is a collaboration between the government and the Tsinghua University. Our headquarters is in Jinan, Shandong province, which is the top agricultural province of China. Yeah, next slide, please. Let's look at the challenges we are facing now. The first is the limited arable land. So shall we plant the soybean or the grain? Why not we plant both? And the second challenge is that we can see there are less and elder farmer, but more population to be fed. By 2050s, our global population is expected to reach close to 10 billion. Sorry, close to 5 billion, sorry. And how can we manage it? Okay, so next slide, please. Before I go into detailed presentation, I would like to show a short video. We can see the technology, how can the technology can empower. Yeah.
The yield of soybean become an important agenda of Chinese agricultural development. Soybean and corn strip compound planting technology has gradually developed into a boom. Farmers and governments across all regions are actively engaged to develop soybean and corn band-shaped compound planting technology. In the old way of human farming relying on manpower, growing soybeans in the middle of corn often requires a lot extra manpower, increase high labor intensity, and low efficiency. With the development of agricultural mechanization and technology, a kind of new soybean and corn compound planter can help reduce manual work intensity. But even with the greatly increased degree of agricultural mechanization, farmers still need to manually measure and adjust the planting spacing. It is also very difficult for non-intelligent agricultural machinery to shuttle through the corn bushes because of the tough operation environment and low work efficiency. During agricultural operation, Farmers rely on the labor method of line powder marking to determine the planting route. To address those challenges and improve efficiency, Novagro introduced an intelligent soybean and corn belt compound planting solution. Farmers can use corn and soybean planters respectively with Novagro unmanned tractor in a 2+4 or 4+4 mode, instead of buying a new compound planter by using existing corn and soybean planters. The number of sowing rows can also be configured according to actual needs. A lot of planting costs are saved. It is an innovative soybean and corn planting solution with full-path autonomous driving. The Novagro branded Cloud Brain platform distributes the operation paths of corn and soybeans to 2 or even more unmanned tractors. It can realize map-first scientific planning, multi-vehicle coordination, precise execution. No manual measurement and marking is required. Powered by advanced technologies like big data, AI and IoT, the planting accuracy is guaranteed, and the land utilization is increased by about 5%. The plant row spacing position is uploaded to the cloud simultaneously, which can be used in the coming plant protection and harvesting to facilitate corn and soybeans interband rotation planning next year. Novagro solution address the time-consuming and labor-intensive challenge, reduce the operating cost of manual repeated measurements, automate the whole process of cultivation, management, and harvesting. The efficiency of soybean and corn compound planting greatly improved, and high standardization operations achieved. Novagro solution integrate both agricultural technology and agronomy to help achieve harvest of both soybean and corn respectively.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the playing. So let's come back to the presentation. So in the video, you already see the how can we use the intelligence to plant the both planters, which is called intelligence compound planting. Also, there is another name which is intercrops. We have two solutions. First is we can do the existing tractor upgrade, which means the farmer can use their existing tractor and lower the cost. But in this way, the farmer can only achieve the assisted driving, which means there's less farmer, but we still need some people to monitor the tractor. The other solution is the innovative intelligence tractor, which is a total unmanned. The tractor, you can see the picture below. The first picture is the result, the result of 2 rows of corn and 4 rows of soybean, which is in Beijing Tongzhou farm. So if anybody have chance to come to Beijing, you are welcome to come to the farm to see. The picture in the middle is our intelligent tractor doing the compound planting operations. During the operation, is totally unmanned. The last picture is showing our mobile app. The farmer just need to input some basic parameters, and then the app can generate the operation track automatically. We also submit a contribution to the ITU and FAO focus group on AI and IoT for digital agricultures. So if anybody have interest in, you can get the document to look into detail. So next slide, please. In the solution, the main products, like I mentioned before, there are 2 main products. The first one is the intelligent upgrade kit for the existing tractor. It's high precision GPS. The accuracy can achieve 2.5 centimeters, which is also the standard of Chinese intelligent machinery. We have 2 configurations. One is the assisted or unmanned driving configuration. In the unmanned driving configuration, we will do some mechanical reconfiguration. So in this configuration, you will achieve the total unmanned. We also use the modular design, which is very easy to install. Our products have export to the some country like Turkey, Nigeria, Estonia, and Russia. The second product is our main product, is the intelligent tractor, which is OEM by our third-party factory. If you achieve the totally unmanned driving, the module, we support different module from the 80 to 210 horse. So we can support different scenario. Next slide, please. We also have the full path planning software, which is we work together with our tractor. The first one, like I mentioned before, is the mobile app. In the app, the farmer just need to input some simple parameters related with the agronomic. For example, how many rows of the soybean, how many rows of the corn, and also some GIS parameters like the we can get the GIS information from some portable equipment like the picture show here. Then the mobile app will generate the operation check automatically. The mobile app will work together with our cloud brain, which is cloud computing. Will control the whole process of operations. The second software is the cloud brain, like I mentioned just now. It's the high precision digital map. It incorporates the high precision digital map, and it implemented the full control of the agricultural machine. Here is the tractor. And we use the cloud elastic computing to do the full path planning. And we realize the agronomy and the machinery converge. Next slide, please. The second topic I mentioned is that how to manage the challenge between the less and elder farmers and more and more populations. We think the digital is a good exploration to manage the challenge. In the picture here, we show a digital twin scenario. To the left is our farm, which is in Tongzhou, like I mentioned, and you can see the land there. We separate them into different blocks to plant different crops, and we use the IoT network in the middle. You can see there is the IoT gateway, and we also install the camera, and also the weather station, the micro weather station, and we deploy the sensor, the agricultural sensor, which will utilize the LoRa network or the Wi-Fi network, and the IoT gateway will connect to the cloud through the 4G or 5G link. And in the middle, this is our digital twins solutions. In this platform, digital twin platform, we will gather all the parameters and both the statistic data, like the farmer situation, for example, the land, and also the dynamic data, for example, the weather and the soil characters. The digital twins will combine both this statistic and dynamic data together to do the analysis. And you can see the right, the corn yield will be remain, but at the same time, we will get an additional bean season. Yeah, so we can go to the next slide. This is the detail of our digital twin solution. Basically, we will simultaneously simulate the first one, the number one agricultural machine, and the number two is the farmland, and the number three is the crop situation, and all those information, sorry, all those data will be integrated in this one digital twin platform. Yeah, so I think I will not go into detail for each item. Yeah, if anybody are interested, either you can see the detail in the document I mentioned before, or we can discuss offline. Here, I will give a short introduction of our international corporations. Like I mentioned just now, in the focus group of the artificial intelligence and Internet of Things for digital agriculture, this is the first group in the ITU and FAO. And we submit this intelligent soybean and corn compound planting and digital twin solutions. We submit this document and to be discussed and to be standardized in the future. And we get a very warmly and lively discussion during the meeting. We talk about how the innovative intelligence and digital technology can empower the traditional intercrop planting. We are the vice chairman of the working group of the regulations. Also, we are leverage our joint research center between the China Agricultural University and our Novel Growth Joint Research Center to review the past history of intercrop in China. We know that there is about more than 30 years, or even you can date back to the ancient China, like 2,000 years ago. China already have the intercrop planting technology. So we try to analyze the contribution of the stabilizing grain and expanding the oil crop. And we also discuss how now we have the new technologies, how the new technology can address the challenges. We also cooperate with our foreign company and foreign counterpart to find a way to serve the sustainable development of agriculture. Yeah, so the next slide. Here I list some further study. I believe they are very interesting to read if you are interested in the intercrop. The first one is the NASDAQ report earlier this year. China have a plan to plant 1 million hectares intercrop planting to solve the oil crop shortage. The second one is some cooperation example between China and Pakistan about the intercrop planting. The third one is a science research about the intercrop benefit. From the research, we can see the intercrop can help to improve the soil health, and so this is a very good for our sustainable agriculture development. The number 4 is some, like I mentioned, is China's Agricultural University. They do a research 10 years ago on the intercrop history, but they also faced some difficulty at that time. But now look with this new technology, for example, the digital and AI and IoT can address most of those challenges. And we believe that with the technology empowerment, we have a very good future for the Crown. Yeah, the last one is some analyzed report from a university. Okay, so next slide, please. Yeah, this link for my some reference for my presentation. And then that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Mr. Mo, thank you. This is a very fascinating presentation. I learned a lot personally, and I actually like very much the fact that for the intelligent tractor, you sell the full tractor, but also the kit for upgrading a regular tractor. And I guess this is something that is to address the issue of pricing. You have a question in the Q&A box. Maybe in the interest of time, you can type your answer there while we move to the next discussant.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We have Miss Xiaoji Zhang. She is the liaison of South-South and Triangular Cooperation in Asia and Pacific region for Global Engagement Partnership and Resources Mobilization Division of IFAD, the International Fund for Agriculture Development. Ms. Xiaoji Zhang, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Manzia, and it's a pleasure to have this opportunity by listening all of this extremely informative and rich presentation delivered by our keynote speakers. As I work in IFAD, which is a UN specialized agency with dedicated mandate on agriculture development and food production, actually in the past 3 years, 80% of IFAD financed projects have a value chain development component, which also shows that digital value chain development is essential for promoting food security, especially in the context of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and other crises. By listening all this rich presentation, I would not, and for time consideration, I would not deliver a presentation from my side, but I would like to pick up some quick observations emerged during the speak session and maybe hopefully serve as food for thought for our discussion. I noticed that in Professor Huang's presentation, he highlighted in his closing remarks that one of the key challenges for value chain development is actually covers 2 areas. The first one is the policy side, and the second one is the inclusiveness of smallholder farmers. From my side, as working in UN specialized agency, I do believe this is where actually UN specialized agency, as well as other international financial institutions, we could join up our efforts together to step in to address these 2 challenges as highlighted by Professor Huang. In terms of policy, as we know that China's policy focus have evolved from boosting food production to a more integrated and balanced approach to improve economic and social benefits. But this is not the same case or all the case for other developing member states. Well, in this case, from IFAD side, given that we are providing grant resources and or resources at very highly concessional terms, very often in our projects, we are supporting to cover the cost of introducing new or digital friendly policies by the government so that they could, to reduce their stress, and also introducing the successful experience from other countries like China. And that's why I think this is an area actually we can work together and to address the challenge from the policy perspective. The second area is we talk about inclusiveness. We heard a lot of voice and ideas from the private sector companies, partners, and But but looking at the whole value chain process, let's not forget the beneficiaries from the very beginning. There's one group we should not forget, that is our beneficiaries, the smallholder farmers who living in the rural areas, and maybe in some cases they live in the remote areas with very limited access. This is where we start to help them, but we also need to remember that they have very little capacities in, for instance, learning the new technologies, the new digital technologies during the value chain process. And this is why, from IFAD perspective, and I believe, and I recall that we also have cooperated with ADB for several projects in Asia, we work together to establish the training program to provide the free services, and most importantly, to provide training to the local farmers who living in the remote areas, so that they could catch up the digital world, the digital system for the value chain and development. These are the two areas I firmly believe we can work together from the institutional perspective across entities, not only the private sector, not only the government, but also a third party, which is the international financial institutions. And I believe these are the areas we can work together by using the South-South and triangular cooperation mechanism. Other areas I can think of we could provide support is, for instance, by leveraging the financial resources or taking advantage of the platform of IFIs to mobilizing support and mobilizing proven successful experience from China, for instance, and other countries to promote these successful approaches to the developing countries in Asia and globally. In conclusion, I very much appreciate that we are all focusing this very important topic, but at the same time, I very much look forward that from institutional perspective, not only government, but also private sector, the beneficiaries, that was we're talking about, the smallholder farmers, we could all work together and leave no one behind in this process of developing digital value chain development. And that's my very quick observation and thoughts. And I'm very happy to attend this session. I look forward to more discussions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent comments, very valid. And, we work very much together on value chain development in other countries, not specifically in China, between, ADB and IFAD. Not in China, we tried. Hopefully we will manage sometime. But we are development partners in promoting the inclusive value chain development. So thank you so much for your comments. Since we are really short of time, let's move quickly to our next and last but not the least discussant, Mr. Takeshi Ueda. He is our principal natural resources and agriculture economist from the Southeast Asia Department of the Asian Development Bank, with a lot of experience in the sector and in the developing value chain. Takeshi, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marzia. And thank you very much for inviting. When I was first invited to attend this webinar, very interesting webinar, I just thought about looking at the speakers and panels. Actually, I do not have so much to offer, to be frank. I worked in China from 2008 to 2015. I observed so much innovation. And for instance, I visited one of the companies that Professor Jikun Huang introduced, Muyuan, that's pig breeding company. And they are doing advanced work in terms of waste management. And I also visited Kachin, it's beef processing company. I mean, that's a huge company. They already have their own traceability system, like a decade ago. So lots of interesting, innovative activities. The beauty of, what China is doing is really government and the private sector working together towards the same goal. So that's something I really want to introduce and bring in to the countries where I work now, which is Southeast Asian region. And I'm glad that despite the short notice, some of my colleagues from different countries like Cambodia and Vietnam, and I can see in this attendees. So I'm very glad, and I'm more like representing them to ask about, what we can learn from China, because this is the purpose of this webinar. So let me just go straight to some of the questions that I have. And to Mr. Dowei, I have so many list of questions, but I just limit a few questions. In one slide that you showed kind of triangular shape, government and I think private sector farmers. And one of the, I'm very keen to learn about what government can do, because that's the area where we usually try to support. And so one item in the government responsibility and role, you stated the planning and fiscal policy support. So my question is, what kind of planning and fiscal policy support that Alibaba have ever benefited? And you think it's useful for especially more, not large scale, but more infant SMEs type of. So if you can tell us about that. And the next question to Mr. Dowei is, ADB does a lot of demonstration projects, including the one that we have approved 2019, Gansu Internet Plus Agriculture Development Project. Actually, this project very first talk came to us in, I think, 2016. So I'm just keen. There are so many demonstration projects that we have supported, but what do you see at this, present ADB can support in order to promote digitalization in agriculture in China or, in China? And I also have a few questions about Professor Jikun Huang. And it's very informative, and I'm so glad to see farmers benefit more by selling online than by selling traditional ways. And my very question is, you showed still like a few % of farmers are involved in e-commerce. So I want to know what these hindrances, for farmers to getting in e-commerce. And next question is, what government should not do? I saw what government should do in, Mr. Dowei's presentation. I just want to ask Professor Huang, what government shouldn't do in order for agricultural digitalization to advance. So I stop here, and very looking forward to listening to your answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Takeshi, for your very important questions. Let me, we are out of time, but because this is really interesting, I will, if some of you might need to leave, but please stay with us while we answer the questions. I suggest that maybe Miss Professor Huang, if he's still here, because I know he has to go. If you are still here, maybe you can take some of the questions before you have to leave. I would like to take the opportunity for you to answer.
Okay,
Professor
thank you so much.
Thank you.
The one, because I had to go quickly. So I took comment. What Ms. Zhang from AFA I think that your comment just emphasizing my point, inclusive pathway is so important. If a government don't know what it's going to do in that 3 years, that's 5 years, that's 10 years, I think without knowing this, investment will be wasted because you will never get them trained. And small farming is so important. I think we need institutional innovation, policy innovation, innovation to make much more inclusive development. I think this is getting to the Takashi question, very important question. What are hinders for farmers engage? And I think my PPT just said in China, only 2% of farmers engage in e-commercial, and among that, less than half of them selling agricultural product. Similar, they also sell industrial product. Only indeed, and they're only selling 0.3% of agricultural product. And the central government, local government, private sector, huge investment in platform, in ICT infrastructure, all under the name of we call sound rural nutrition, revitalization, all under the farmer, under agriculture. But my point is not much for farmer, not much for agriculture. It's mainly for the value chain, immediate term and downstream term. Not upstream of farmers didn't engage in innovation, and they are much less behind. And also investing go to the company. Even we see the Alibaba, they do great job. And yesterday I visited in the county government, they invest many millions to build a logistical building. And they are who are there, there's a company. They are, of course, no big company, a company. I didn't find any farmer. So I think it's very important farmers engage, they serve, even though even we don't know farmers not selling 10%, but at least that farmers selling 5% or 3% or 2%, that's enough for me. So far only 0.3%. But what does constraint hinders who capacity? Farmers don't, small farmers can have to, but we do have some farmers can do that. Capacity improvement is so important. Second, technology for small farmers. Small farmers don't need a fancy technology. Small farmers only need a very simple technology. As I said, they only produce 3 pounds, 4 tons. They don't need a big platform. They just need a simple technology like website and something. They can do, they 22-3 days can do very good job selling the product at twice price. So, but we did the technology development is still certainly not for this small farmer. And the last question Takashi asked, what government should not do? I think they should not invest, but invest money on private sectors. I do see quite a lot of money going in this sector. If going in this sector, they should have a requirement. You have this ICT project or digital card project, whatever medium project. You the precondition. You need to engage small farmers. Otherwise, you can get this project for implementation. Of course, we need private sector to working with government project, but they need a precondition. And for example, I look at one marketing chain from whatever to supply chain, and what farmer selling to the platform to supply chain price is same wholesale. But in the supply chain, they get packaging and waiting, and the price increase from 1 to 1.4 euro, 40% increasing. And this simple packaging, printing, farmer can do that quickly for them. Why not another farmer do? Why we ask, we invest government and private invest supply chain, that is company. Right? I think I will end here. We need institutional innovation to make a farmer engaging. We need a policy innovation to require private sector to engage upstream of farmers. We need technology for small farmers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Wan, and thank you for staying with us, although you need to go. Let me move on to Mr. Duo Wei from Alibaba. There was a question for you on the include.
Marcia, on mute by mistake. Yep.
Apologies. So let me call on Mr. Duo Wei from Alibaba to answer on the question on e-commerce and farmers. Over to you.
好的，那我用中文回答，那个有同声传译。
So since we have simultaneous interpreters, I would answer in Chinese. I think 4 roles from the government are very important. First, the government should provide very powerful infrastructure. For example, very broad internet buildings. And then secondly, logistic support. Any logistic network that covers the counties or under the counties are very important, and they cannot be done without the support of the government. And the building of this logistic network is very important to value chain or industrial chain. And thirdly, the government can also carry out some trainings and also some knowledge sharing activities. Only with a lot of technologies, no matter in e-commerce or in any projects, we have to let the farmers know the benefits of the project, and we need the participation of the farmers. So the government needs to carry out a lot of trainings and knowledge sharing activities for them, so that they would know how to participate. And another very important role of the government is public service. For example, they can have a regional agricultural product brand building for the farmers, or they can also build some public service parks or zones for the development of the agricultural enterprises. And fourthly, the government can also support some demonstration project for the farmers. For example, some digital agricultural base or digital agricultural park for the farmers. And it is very conducive for the adoption of the technology. So this is from the adoption to utilization. So that's why I think the government can do. The governments can do the 4 things. And this cannot be done without a longer term planning. Usually in China, the government have a long-term plans. For example, we have 3 years plans, 5-year plans, and 10 years plans, or even longer time. And this would be very conducive to the development of agriculture and to the development of a digital agriculture. And this can build up the confidence of the enterprises and the farmers. So I think this is very key. And the second question, I think, is about how Alibaba participate into such activities, and also our cooperation with ADB and some other organizations. In the demonstration projects, we provide some digital services. For example, we can provide package and logistic services, and we can also provide the marketing services, and also we can provide the digital tools and the digital platforms. And all these can be integrated into the local demonstration projects. And then we can build the digital agriculture and the digital counties or rural areas, so that there might be some economic benefit. So that's why a demonstration project can be successful.
So we need the economic returns for the farmers, and that is a direction for Alibaba. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dou. Let me move on to the next question, and I think I would like to now call in my old friend Yixing Miao. Yixing, You can come in and ask your question live. Ishin, you are muted.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, my question, oh, thank you so much. I already put my question there in the Q&A box. That is, yeah, thank you very much for Professor's presentation. My question is regarding the video. Yeah, we have seen the intelligence to plant both of corn and the bean. Yeah, I worried about, is it too expensive for most of the farmers? As we know, their income are not so high, or just such kind of intelligence to plant both of corn and bean just affordable for the agriculture company, not only not for the ordinary farmers. Thank you.
Thank you, Shin. And also, Mr. Mo, you also have another question from Ivy Gao of Agrobusiness Team of Private Sector Development, asking you for sales channels and how your company interacts with farmers or local rural cooperatives. So, Mr. Mo, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yes, so to answer Ms. Yao's question, yeah, thank you for your question. And the price for the intelligence, actually there's two parts. First part is, like I mentioned, the solution one is the upgrade kit. The cost is not very huge. It's about 40,000 renminbi. Yeah, 40,000 renminbi, roughly. Which means if you already have the tractor and you are going to plant either single crown or multi-crown. If you're planting single crown, you already have the tractor, and if you do the multi-compound planting, which means you plant the soybean and corn together, you only increase about 40,000 RMB. That's enough. That's all for all the additional cost. But for some rural area, for example, in China, Southwest, they didn't use the tractor for the planting. They always do the manual planting. In that case, they need to buy the tractor first and then upgrade to intelligence planting. In that way, the cost might be, they will need about 100,000 RMB for normally 100,000 to 200,000. That's the tractor price. In China, for the most farmer, for example, in the north and northeast, they already use the tractor. So additional cost is not significant, I believe. And for the second question, to answer Gao Zijun, our sales channel, we have two kinds of sales. One is the channel sales. We just rely on our distributor across the country to do the selling, and also the consulting selling. They will help us to promote our benefit to the farmer or to the local rural cooperative community. This is the first. This is the major one. The second, we also do some direct sales, but this is a very small portion. So I don't know if I have answered these two questions.
Thank you.
Okay, I think
already answered my question. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mazia, for this opportunity. Thank you.
No problem. And I think given that we are over time, if I can ask the speakers and also the participants to switch on their cameras for a final photos of the seminar. We can take a picture. And let me just conclude very quickly. You know, we talked about a lot of things, but let me stress, you know, the importance of an ecosystem approach, the incredible potential of digital technologies, the need for inclusiveness for small farmers and remote areas, and the critical role of private sector and government. And let me add also development partners like ADB and IFAD. So let me conclude now the seminar. Apologies for going beyond the time, and I don't see the cameras on for the picture, but then it's okay. I guess we can conclude here. And oh, there, and now I see it. Maybe 1, 2, 3, smile, and hopefully somebody's taking a nice picture. Thank you again for participating in this webinar, and see you at the 3rd webinar of the series. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.